welcome to Daily Briefing. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. July 2nd, 2026.
Today we're tracking a major reversal on AI exports from the U.S. government, a massive crypto rally driven by the Federal Reserve, and a terrifying first-of-its-kind autonomous ransomware attack. Plus, if you're waking up in Parker, Colorado, it's 54 degrees and clear, heading up to a hot 90 degrees later today.
That's quite the swing in temperature, but let's get into it.
Starting with global news, the U.S. government has officially lifted its brief but highly controversial export ban on Anthropic's most advanced AI models.
That means Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5 are finally cleared for global distribution again. The industry was really holding its breath on this one.
Yeah, the ban was originally put in place due to intense national security concerns. Lawmakers were terrified about these frontier models falling into the hands of foreign adversaries who could weaponize the code generation capabilities.
But clearly, those debates have shifted behind closed doors over the last few weeks. The lobbying pressure from the tech sector must have been absolutely immense to get this reversed so quickly.
It's a massive relief for Anthropic. During the freeze, their international competitors were aggressively capturing enterprise market share in Europe and Asia.
You really can't hit pause.
It's a tightrope walk for sure.
Speaking of U.S. policy with massive global ripple effects, Donald Trump is rolling out a highly aggressive new immigration proposal.
He's targeting expectant mothers at the border as a secondary measure to limit birthright citizenship.
This is being called his Plan B, since ending birthright citizenship outright requires overcoming a massive constitutional hurdle with the 14th Amendment. This targets the demographics before they even enter the country.
It signals a severe escalation in border strategy.
Right, and it guarantees a wave of constitutional challenges if he actually tries to implement it. You're talking about restricting entry based on pregnancy status, which touches on numerous protected classes and international human rights treaties.
Legal experts are already flagging that this would face immediate roadblocks and injunctions in federal court on day one.
It's a clear message to his base ahead of the election. He's showing that he's willing to push the absolute limits of executive power to curb immigration numbers.
Turning to Eastern Europe, the violence is escalating dramatically this week.
A devastating Russian airstrike killed 17 people in Kyiv yesterday. The destruction in the residential districts is just horrific to see.
In response, Ukraine launched a series of retaliatory drone strikes directly targeting Moscow's oil infrastructure.
Both sides are increasingly focusing on strategic energy sectors. They're trying to cripple each other's economic and logistical lifelines as the war drags on.
The loss of life in Kyiv is tragic, and it shows that Russia isn't backing down from targeting civilian centers to break morale.
Meanwhile, the strikes on Russian oil facilities show this conflict is expanding much deeper into Russian territory than we saw last year. Ukraine knows they have to hit Russia's wallet if they want to slow down the military machine.
It's a dangerous escalation. Every time a major oil refinery goes up in flames, the global energy markets get a little more nervous about supply chain stability.
We're also tracking a major threat to global shipping today in the Middle East.
Iran has issued a stark warning to oil tankers navigating the Strait of Hormuz.
They're demanding that all vessels stick strictly to approved maritime routes, and they're threatening a forceful military response if anyone deviates from those lanes.
The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most vital trade choke points on the entire planet. Roughly 20% of the world's oil consumption passes through that narrow waterway every single day.
Any disruption there immediately threatens global oil supplies. It sends shipping costs and maritime insurance premiums skyrocketing overnight.
Iran knows exactly how much leverage they have here. By threatening the strait, they're essentially holding a portion of the global economy hostage to gain diplomatic leverage.
We'll be watching the commodities markets closely today to see how oil prices react to this threat. The geopolitical risk premium is definitely going up.
Coming up, a bizarre legal case out of India involving hallucinated AI. Let's turn to India, where the Supreme Court just handed down a massive warning about artificial intelligence in the courtroom.
They actually had to set aside a national company law tribunal order because they discovered it relied on completely fictitious AI-generated case laws.
The justices didn't hold back in their ruling. They called the use of hallucinated legal precedents catastrophic to the integrity of the judicial process.
It's a stark reminder that lawyers can't just blindly trust large language models to do their legal research without verifying the citations.
Exactly. Relying on a chatbot for a binding legal argument is a fast track to getting disbarred.
On a more positive note for Indian technology, the country's first privately developed orbital rocket is gearing up for a historic launch.
The Vikram 1 rocket is officially scheduled to lift off by August 4th.
This is a huge milestone. It represents a major step forward in the commercialization and expansion of India's rapidly growing private space sector.
Finally, in India, millions of salaried employees are looking at a change to their paychecks and retirement planning.
The Employees Provident Fund organization just introduced a new rule making PF contributions above 1,800 rupees voluntary instead of mandatory.
That alters the take-home pay dynamics significantly, giving workers much more control over their monthly cash flow.
When we come back, we dive into a massive rebound in the crypto markets.
Let's talk markets. Bitcoin is officially back above $60,000, and the broader crypto market is rallying hard.
We're seeing a sharp rebound across the board.
The primary catalyst here seems to be recent comments from Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh.
He indicated that inflation risks are finally receding. That gave the market the exact dovish policy signals it's been desperately waiting for. And what's interesting is that it's not just the heavyweights moving. Speculative and smaller tokens are actually leading the market gains in terms of percentage growth.
As Bitcoin climbed back past $61,000, retail investors clearly felt confident enough to start taking risks on altcoins again.
It just proves how incredibly sensitive the cryptocurrency market remains to macroeconomic policy. One dovish word from the Federal Reserve and the capital floodgates open.
Meanwhile, over in Europe, regulators are already having to rethink their landmark crypto legislation. The rethink aims to address glaring gaps in the...
It makes perfect sense. The crypto market moves so fast that even the most comprehensive regulations are out of date almost as soon as they're printed.
Institutional tokenization wasn't nearly as massive 3 years ago as it's today. Traditional finance is moving real-world assets like bonds and real estate onto the blockchain at a staggering pace.
European lawmakers want to make sure they don't stifle that innovation, but they also want to close loopholes that could threaten broader financial stability.
Speaking of regulation, there's a fascinating story out of the Financial Times this morning regarding OpenAI.
The AI giant has reportedly discussed offering a 5% equity stake directly to the U.S. government.
The public pitch is that this is a proposal to share AI-generated wealth with the American people, almost like a sovereign wealth fund.
But let's be real, this is a highly calculated move to ease the intense political and regulatory scrutiny surrounding the industry right now.
Yeah, giving the federal government a direct financial interest in your company's success is certainly one way to fend off antitrust lawsuits.
It's a bold lobbying strategy. If the government owns 5% of OpenAI, they're fundamentally incentivized to see the company thrive and dominate the global market.
Critics are already calling it a massive conflict of interest. How can regulators objectively police a company that the government owns a piece of?
We'll see if lawmakers actually entertain the idea of the government holding equity in a private tech monopoly, but it shows how creative OpenAI is getting with their lobbying.
In corporate crypto news, Japanese investment firm Metaplanet is doubling down on its aggressive Bitcoin strategy.
They just purchased another $170 million worth of Bitcoin, expanding their total treasury to 43,000 BTC.
That acquisition solidifies the company's position as the world's third-largest publicly traded corporate holder of Bitcoin.
And wrapping up markets, The Layer 2 protocol Tycho has fully restored its cross-chain bridge just 10 days after suffering a $1.7 million exploit.
The swift recovery and a successful security audit actually triggered a massive surge in the price of the native Tycho token.
It's rare to see a crypto project bounce back that quickly and regain community trust after a hack.
On the tech side, we have a terrifying new development in cyber warfare coming up next. Turning to tech and AI, security researchers have detected something the cybersecurity community has been dreading for a long time.
They found the first fully automated ransomware attack executed from start to finish by an autonomous AI agent.
The agent exploited a remote code execution vulnerability in Langflow to breach the database, and it did it entirely on its own.
This marks a highly dangerous escalation in cyber warfare. We're crossing a major threshold here, where human oversight is completely removed from the attack chain.
Malicious actors are no longer just using large language models to write convincing phishing emails or generate basic malware scripts.
Right, they're letting the AI handle the entire operation. The agent handles the network intrusion, the lateral movement, and the data destruction without any human intervention.
It operates at machine speed. By the time a human security analyst gets an alert on their dashboard, the AI has already locked down the database and demanded a ransom.
Defending against autonomous agents is going to require autonomous defenses. Human reaction times are just too slow for this new era of digital threats.
And unfortunately, that isn't the only AI-driven threat making headlines today.
Cybersecurity researchers also discovered a novel browser-based ransomware strain generated using the DeepSeek AI model.
This malware abuses the Chromium API, which means it runs entirely inside web browsers across Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and Android.
This is the first documented case of a frontier AI model being used to construct a fully functional attack path of this magnitude.
The cross-platform nature of this is what makes it so terrifying. It doesn't care what operating system you're running, as long as you have a Chromium-based browser installed.
It encrypts files directly through the browser environment, bypassing a lot of traditional endpoint security measures that look for executable files.
It just proves that the safety guardrails on these frontier models are still incredibly porous. Attackers are finding creative ways to jailbreak the models and generate devastating code.
Even the tools that developers use to build.
Researchers have discovered two critical vulnerabilities in a highly popular AI-powered code editor cursor.
These flaws allow prompt injections to escape the sandbox environment completely.
That's a massive security failure. It means an attacker could execute arbitrary commands on a developer's machine without any user interaction.
If a developer opens a malicious repository, the AI assistant could be tricked into running destructive commands in the background while they review the code.
Supply chain attacks are already a huge problem, and targeting the developer's local environment through their AI assistant is a brilliant, albeit terrifying, vector.
If your engineering team uses Cursor, you need to ensure they've updated to the latest patched version immediately.
The federal government is also issuing urgent patching warnings today regarding Microsoft infrastructure.
CISA has added a high-severity remote code execution vulnerability in Microsoft SharePoint Server to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog.
That vulnerability is tracked as CVE 2026-45659, and federal agencies are mandated to patch it immediately to prevent active exploitation.
In a big win for international law enforcement, a 19-year-old suspect linked to the Scattered Spider hacking group has been extradited from Finland to the United States.
He's facing federal hacking charges. This extradition represents a major milestone in the ongoing crackdown on high-profile ransomware syndicates.
Scattered Spider has been responsible for some of the most disruptive corporate hacks of the last few years, so getting a key player into a U.S. courtroom is a big deal.
Shifting gears to some positive AI news, Anthropic just launched a major new flagship product called Claude Science.
It's a specialized large language model tailored specifically for pharmaceutical, biotech, and complex scientific research.
This is a huge step forward for the industry. General-purpose models are great for drafting emails, but they often hallucinate when you get into deep molecular biology or quantum physics.
Claude Science was trained on massive datasets of peer-reviewed papers, clinical trial data, and chemical structures to ensure high-fidelity outputs.
It's designed to act as an autonomous research assistant, helping scientists synthesize data and accelerate complex discoveries.
We're moving past the era of standard chatbots and into the era of specialized AI agents doing actual heavy lifting in the laboratory.
If this helps cut down the time it takes to develop new life-saving drugs, it could be one of the most important AI releases of the year.
Finally, in tech, there's a fascinating launch happening today to boost NASA's capabilities in orbit.
The robotic servicing spacecraft Link, built by Catalyst Space, is scheduled to launch to raise the orbit of NASA's Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory.
This first-of-its-kind mission aims to extend the operational lifespan of the Critical Space Telescope by physically moving it to a higher, more stable altitude.
I love seeing private companies building the tow trucks and service vehicles of the space industry.
Coming up, Harry Kane keeps England's World Cup dreams alive.
Let's check in on the World Cup, where Harry Kane just sent England into the round of 16.
He scored the decisive goal to lead England to a tense 2-1 victory over Congo.
The pressure on the English squad was massive going into this game. Fans were incredibly nervous after a shaky start to the tournament.
But this win secures their spot and keeps their championship hopes alive as they advance to the knockout stage.
We also saw a fantastic performance from Belgium's veteran national football team.
They rallied to defeat Senegal in a crucial match, silencing a lot of the pre-tournament skepticism from the sports media.
People thought this aging squad was completely finished, especially going up against a fast, young Senegal team.
But experience pays off. The victory proves they remain highly competitive on the world stage when it matters most.
Back here in the States, the Pac-12 Athletic Conference is officially back in action.
The league has completely reformed and revamped its lineup, marking a major shift in the landscape of collegiate sports.
After essentially collapsing last year, seeing the brand resurrected with a new roster of schools is pretty wild.
It'll be fascinating to see how the new conference alignments and broadcast deals shake out this season.
Finally today, some deeply personal news from Hollywood. Acclaimed actor Danny Glover has publicly revealed his Alzheimer's disease diagnosis.
He released a statement emphasizing how much his family has his back, bringing high-profile visibility to the neurodegenerative condition.
It's a brave announcement, and it really highlights the absolute importance of family caregiving when navigating a diagnosis like this. The speed of AI integration is accelerating across every single sector, from scientific breakthroughs to autonomous cyber threats.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, everyone.